Hey, this is Peter from 2 Mic Minimum. Just a disclaimer, this is episode 3. I know we mentioned that this is episode 2, but we had to record an emergency episode in order to respond to some beef that another podcaster had with some things we said in the first episode. So we pushed this episode back. It's a bonus episode 3. We're going to start uploading new episodes every Thursday, so check us out on Apple, Spotify, and SoundCloud. In other news, if you are a comedian yourself or are just around local comedy scenes, we'd love to read your crazy local scene story. You can send stories to us to our Gmail, 2micminimum@gmail.com, and if we like the story, we'll probably talk about it in an episode. Anyway, I hope you enjoy this episode. Stay woke. Hello, and welcome to the second episode of
2 Mic Minimum. Our
Minimum.
timing was so off. We timed it and everything.
It was really bad.
Let's do it again.
Second,
Ready?
all right, sure.
All right, ready? Welcome to 2
2
Mic
Mic
Minimum.
Minimum.
Why'd you emphasize the mic? Just say it
All right,
normal.
all right, okay.
All right, one more time. Ready? Welcome to
2 Mic Minimum. That's all going in.
Yeah, no,
I'm not
honestly.
editing any of that out.
As you shouldn't. I mean, it was mainly your fault
Yes.
the first 2 takes. So.
Yes, we're only on our second episode, so we should have our shit together by now. So.
Should, but we don't.
Okay. Yes, welcome to 2 Mic Minimum, the comedy news that you don't hear about or might not even care about, but we care about it, and we're going to make sure you
I
hear
think
it.
you made a grand scheme of saying we care about it. I don't think we care. I think it's just that we're trying to monetize ourselves.
Oh, don't set us up as sellouts just yet,
I've said
Sean.
my goal is to sell out. Like
Yeah.
I will shill anything.
Right.
I have a new system on the side podcast I do called the Big Berry Podcast.
Yes.
If you give me $5, I will say whatever you want on the air. That is my new thing. And
Yes.
if you want to just Venmo me $5.
Yes, if you have a manifesto that's sitting around somewhere on a Google Doc, send Barry $5, and then
Yeah, I'll read it. I don't care.
he'll spend 30 minutes of his podcast reading your manifesto.
Yeah.
So fuck the New York Times. You don't need them to publish
Well,
yours.
it's failing and it's fake news.
It's failing and it's fake news. Big Barry Podcast, the realest news in town.
Yep.
How is your week, Sean?
It's been a week. It's been a lot of open mics, a lot of comedy, a lot of podcasting.
How many mics did you do this week?
I'm up to five for this week since Monday.
That's
so
good.
and today's Thursday, and
I think 5 a week is a good number.
see. I usually do like 9,
Yeah.
so I hate myself.
Yeah, I've heard. I mean, it's like if I'm
out here grinding.
you gotta get on that grind.
Hey, we out here.
We out here grinding.
We out here. Yeah.
I did one.
Yeah, you did the one I
per
always
usual,
see. The one
but-
you always do.
Yes, and I did a very rushed plug of this podcast.
Yeah, it was not a good plug. See, I plugged mine at the same mic, and it was perfect.
We did it at the time where the host was making fun of people or comics starting podcasts. And
Yes,
we're like,
he
yeah,
was.
that's us.
To be fair, he didn't. He was the reason why I decided to start this podcast. Because like, oh, he could do it. I could do it.
Yeah, I mean, you just have to have the equipment and think you have a bright enough personality that people want to listen to, and you're golden.
I think you just need the equipment, honestly. I think you just the equipment and willing to talk for.
Well, yeah, and the
however you wanna
delusion to think that you have because everyone who does this, they think like, oh yeah, people would love to listen to me for however
Yeah,
many
no, you have to be
hours
a delusional psychopath to be in comedy and to do podcasts.
and to do podcasts.
Yeah.
And
There's a reason why a whole lot of them got me too'd. Because they're all just psychopaths who thinks everybody wants them.
yep,
Yeah.
that's
Is this where you wanted to start the podcast? Right?
No, I like
into
how
gender
I
debates.
I do like how every time we do a podcast, like even check out our episode of the Big Berry Podcast where Sean interviews me. We touch upon every topic from Bill Cosby to Israel Palestine to abortions.
Yeah, pretty
Which,
much. We are as problematic as you can get.
as you can get for 2 straight cisgender white males.
Yes.
Anyway, I was sick for the past 2 days.
Mm-hmm. We got a little case of the sniffles.
Big cases. I mean, I don't really get sick.
I never get sick.
Yeah.
But when I do get sick, it's like I'm
Yes.
literally dying.
It's like I can't go anywhere. I can't move. I spent, oh my God, I forgot to turn off my phone.
Yeah.
Oh,
no. If all that interference comes through, it is entirely on you. And we're not restarting.
Okay. Well, anyway, yeah, I mean, I was so sick to the point where it's just like, I'm just going to spend all day, like browsing through Facebook and Twitter and just not care about
just
improving myself at all.
I know I can tell because you're always active on the Facebook when I see like, oh, he posted these things. So
he posted this bullshit. But,
yeah, God, I hate people. I hate being on Facebook. I'm only on it because it's how I keep in contact for my comedy things. And I just see all these psychopaths who post like, who gives a fucking... I think we talked about this last week, but I'm just so... Shut the fuck up. No one cares.
But I'm not a psychopath.
You post annoying shit too. You do.
Okay, but there's a difference between me trying to like work out just bits.
Do it on stage. Don't do it on Facebook.
Why? I mean, so many people work out bits online. What's the big deal?
Because it sucks. That's why it's annoying to see. These are my problems.
Anyway, yeah, okay, but anyway, there's a difference between that and people who are just like, for example, as we talked about in our last podcast, talking shit about a woman who rejected them and complaining and crying and like threatening bad things towards people. Those are the psychopaths.
Or being put into a group chat by a third party, and then when I leave that group chat, this guy talks shit about me in the chat, despite the fact there was other people that knew me and showed me what he said.
Ooh, spilling tea.
Yeah, I'll say there's a comic who I don't like, who doesn't like me, and I was in this group chat for this thing, and I left it, and then the minute I did, he comments on like he's this guy, he sucks, he's just he's a piece of shit. In fact, most people in the comedy community around here hate him, but no one's willing to say anything out loud because we're all pussies. But
anyway, this is what every scene looks like from the inside. A lot of people bitching about each other and hating on each other.
Yeah, no, that's exactly it.
Yeah, so it's a lovely time. But anyway, we're going to get into our first story.
Let's get into the subjects.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to add intro music. Maybe
that's why I added it in my... I'm adding it in.
Any intro music we have is going to be added by Sean Barry.
All right, lead us into the stories.
Yeah, our first story is from Off the Hook Comedy Club in Naples, Florida. This happened around May 20th. I mean, this is going to be so dated compared to when I uploaded it.
It happened in late May.
It happened in late May.
You could just say it happened.
It happens. The headline is, Florida man calls 911 after comedian Ahmed Ahmed's Middle East joke makes him uncomfortable.
Now, first and foremost, I firmly believe in calling the police every time a comedian sucks. I think that's fair. It's an attack. It's an attack on your mental sanity. But in this case, this guy was just a racist.
Yeah, this was very bad. Yeah, by the way, Sean Barry really believes in heavy comedy regulation. And
I do. I believe it should be. I'm a comedian socialist. I don't believe in socialism as a way of governance, but I believe it in comedy.
Yeah, he believes big state control over
it should be controlled and regulated. Who's allowed to do this and for how long?
And like the sad part is like I don't really disagree with you.
Yeah.
Like if there was New York State's Department of Comedy where you had to get a license,
to apply for a license, you get a learner's permit for a few years. Yeah. You put up your best 10 for a panel of judges. Well, then you're allowed to keep practicing. If not, find a new profession.
Yeah, whoever Cuomo points to his panel of comedy judges.
I'll be his comedy czar.
Comedy czar. Yeah, and then you siphon out so many garbage people.
If you had to pay $20 fee to apply for the license, right?
Yeah, 90% right there. Just
bam.
Gone.
Exactly. That would free up so many open mics.
But anyway, with this story, so we both saw the video or the 911 call.
We both tee-hee-heed over this video.
Over the call. Basically, it's like the most uncomfortable white guy.
It's his most like stereotypical like, who's the guy who would call the police when he saw a person of color? Yeah. Like you don't see his face, but you hear his voice.
Yeah, I mean his whole demeanor's just like.
Here, let me see if I can get a solid impression of him here.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, how you doing? I was at this comedy club, right? Mm-hmm. That was me doing the in-person, the dispatchers, So I'm at this comedy club, right? And this Middle Eastern fella, I did not buy tickets to see him, but I did get free tickets, so I wanted to see him. So I saw him, the Middle Eastern fella. He asked in the crowd, who here's Middle Eastern? And a bunch of hands went up. And he said, we could form our own terrorist group together. He. And I just did not think that was funny.
Yeah.
A+ impression by me. Why aren't you?
I will say he sounded less twangy and more just like Yeah, I don't.
There was a twang. To
I
it,
just
though.
yeah, there's a Florida twang, but he just sounded like one of those really pushover like dads, like one of those people who just like
Yeah, it's just a classic, just racist guy.
yeah. But essentially, I think Sean summed up the first part of it, where so this guy goes to a comedy show and obviously has free tickets because the reason why there's a lot of Middle Eastern people there is because it's like
a Middle Eastern comedian.
Middle Eastern comedian.
Actually, he's not. Excuse me. He's an American comedian
Yes.
of Middle Eastern
Yes,
descent.
that's there we go. We're woke on the 2 Mic Minimum podcast.
We are until we get into your alt-right views.
And yeah, anyway, he asked like who's Middle Eastern, and he said that like people from Iran, people from Iraq, people from Pakistan were raising their hands, and what he said, and Ahmed actually said this was a misquote, which is true because we saw the video.
Yeah.
The guy on the 911 call said that Ahmed said we could organize our own little terrorist organization.
Which is very funny for the record. Like, it's no different when I ask who here's in a fraternity and asking who's here to commit a date rape. Those are jokes.
Yeah.
Funny.
Well, just making people uncomfortable like that.
Welcome to comedy. People
yeah.
get uncomfortable by it. Like,
also punching down on frat guys is always funny.
oh yeah.
Fuck
Punching. It's not punching. I hate the term punching down for the record.
Really?
Yeah,
Why?
that's just some bullshit liberals made up, honestly. Like, you shouldn't punch down. Comedy is comedy. It's jokes. No one gets hurt by them. They're your words.
I think when people use punching down, I think they mean like, are you punching down on like the right target? You know?
Yeah, but that's bullshit too. Because it should be spread amongst everybody. Like, people are like, oh, because you see a white guy making fun of, like shitty comedians who make fun of like Black Lives Matter and stuff. Like, yeah, all right, I get it there, but like I noticed, but like I hate it. I hate the term in general.
Yeah, I
because it's so, like anything, it's used as a crux to get people to be like, that's not funny. That's not funny.
I mean, I just see it more as of like whoever the audience is going to sympathize more with is normally the group you should avoid punching down, or the person. Really, it doesn't even have to be with like race or whatever. It's just like, for example, like, oh, are you gonna like make a really harsh joke about a guy who got like crippled in an accident or something? Like, you can make a funny joke like around that, or in a way that isn't essentially like, hitting someone while they're down. I think that's what people mean when they say punch down.
I guess.
But,
I think it's just a crux people use as a way of defending, because they get their own. They get triggered.
I mean, I think
it's
like as it is with
like best comedians. Like, Bill Burr's most famous bit is, "Why can't you hit a woman?" Like, that's literally his one of his most famous bits, and it's hysterical. Like, that's just what I think is like, when people frame it that way, it's like, because in theory, yeah, he is punching down, but he's
well, there's more nuance to Bill Burr than like the open mic comment who's like, we should abuse women. You know,
yeah, that's also just, you're just a bad comedian.
Yeah.
So let's just keep rolling.
So like So what he actually said in the video is, are there people of Middle East descent? People clapped, and then he said, "Hey, it only takes one of us," which was a joke, and it was followed by a pause. And then he said, "To tell a joke, guys, to tell a joke." So there was like misdirection there.
Yeah.
And then he turned it around again, saying, "Seriously, lock the doors."
Exactly.
So funny guys. So. And apparently he said in the call that he responded to Ahmed's joke with, "Yeah, and the paddy wagon is going to be outside to get all of you." So he was like threatening to call the police.
Yeah, he was heckling, of course,
at the show. And I don't know, it's unclear what happened after that. I'm sure like
I'm assuming
he played
the guy just left and then called the cops, is my guess.
I think I loved that towards the end of the call, he was saying, he was like, "I'm not sure if you're the right people to talk to about this."
Yeah, he was like, he opened with like, "Is this the right department? Is this the Department of Comedy?"
Does Florida have a Department of Comedy?
Oh, like, you can literally hear the dispatcher's voice being like, "All right, I'll send someone."
Yeah, the dispatcher's just like, no, not really.
I think I have to, right? Like,
yeah,
I think it's my job.
Yeah,
and then,
like, at first I thought the dispatcher was weird because, he would say like, "Oh, this made me feel uncomfortable," and she was like, "Oh yeah, I understand that in this climate." I'm like, but then I kind of thought they're probably trained to like make people
feel. Their job is like they get a shit ton of 911 calls a day. To the point that they're just like zombies.
Yeah, they're not
My brother worked as one for a little bit, and like he just said like you just hear the worst shit constantly. So it makes sense. I never blame a dispatcher.
Yeah, they're not going to be like, you got offended by a fucking joke, pussy?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Hey, Bill, this guy's offended by a joke.
Oh, where? Your wife got stabbed? Why don't you call the ambulance?
Here it comes. Wah, wah, wah.
God, learn how to take a punch.
So anyway, after that, the cops show up to the comedy club because he was doing a show the next day. And
I think it was the same night, actually. I think in the video, because I think he had an early show and a late show. But
Okay, no, you're
and this was in between.
right.
Was in between the shows.
And he actually took a
video outside with the owner of the club, I guess, the owner's wife, I believe, and then the two police officers who came.
And the police officers were just like, I don't know why we're here.
Police officers like, come on, I should be stopping. I should not be stopping a crime. I should be eating donuts somewhere.
Yeah, they told him in the video, don't change your set or anything.
Like don't worry about it.
The police did actually request a video of his set from that night, to make sure he wasn't starting it.
Yeah, you don't say fire in a movie theater, but
yeah. But Ahmed, I don't really know the comic that well, but he was played it off in a really friendly way. He seems like a really nice guy.
Here's the thing: in 2019, this could actually be really good for him. Like, you could play this off. Like
the New York Times was calling him. He said in like another video.
Exactly. Like this is America. You can exploit a tragedy or something bad for you for lots of money.
Yes.
Like you can go like, oh, Jimmy Fallon's calling. I get to go up and do a 10 or something like that. So
there you go.
So I'm saying is start calling the police on your own sets.
Right.
That's what you should be doing.
Congrats, Ahmed, on your Netflix special you have now. Because
it's coming. Yeah, definitely.
No, you're very funny, Ahmed. I'm acting like he cares about this.
Yes. He'll never hear this in a million years.
But I imagine if like this guy's suspicions were right and this guy was
if he got it right, dude, like he would be so fucking jazzed. It's like every now and then like a racist profiling does work. Yeah. Like he's just
and then like everyone on the far right starts hounding this incident.
We got one.
See, we're always right because of this.
Yeah, the one example, but
that's like what politics is, like finding one instance when you're right and fucking touting it.
Yeah, and exploiting it until people lose their shit.
But I'm just like, but seriously, like imagine if he was right and there was a ISIS insurgency at Off the Hook Comedy Club in Naples, Florida.
ISIS obviously would have an open mic tryouts.
Yeah, just because like the concept of having a terrorist insurgency, but then again, maybe it's not so stupid because it's the last thing you'd expect.
It's true.
It would be hilarious though if like just an ISIS video came out and it was like them talking behind a brick wall.
Yeah.
And there was like a giant ha-ha logo in the background.
The Chuckle Shack.
Like, America will bow down to us.
They gets interrupted because somebody's dropping the checks at the for the 2-drink minimum.
The waiters are setting up the drinks and all that. I'm very surprised because he's a nice looking guy. Like you look at him and you're like, yeah.
Peter, are you just learning about how racism works? That people don't like. He's a nice looking guy, and because he's a person of color, somebody called the cops on him.
No, I mean I get it, but I guess I was gonna like go off into another point on why I think that, just because I've been to so many of these shows where this is comedians towards audience members where they'll find someone who looks scary and has like a beard or something, and they spend the rest of the show calling that person a terrorist.
Oh yeah, no, that's a classic move.
This happened to my friend. I was doing a show with this comedian who was headlining, and the comedian starts making fun of my friend for being a terrorist. He's Filipino.
Makes sense.
He just has a beard and looks scary. That's the only.
Yeah, that's the only reason.
And then this happened recently at a show. You were there.
Was it?
It was Gina Bisconti and Aaron Berg, where they like singled someone else and like called him terrorist throughout the entire night.
I wasn't thinking of that one. I was thinking that there was a very bodacious woman in the crowd that they were making lewd comments towards.
No, but so at this show, like I don't know if it was Gino or Aaron, but one of them like just accused this guy of being a terrorist. I come up to the guy after the mic and I asked him like what his ethnicity was. He's like, oh, I'm Italian.
Yeah,
Like,
makes
like
there
why?
were a lot. There's been a lot of Italian terrorists. To be fair,
But
I'll go on record. I hate Italians. Just can't stand them.
Honestly-
I was in Munich for a bombing. No, for Oktoberfest. And the one thing every other nationality could agree it was that the Italians were the worst people. Like it was like this weird cultural bonding thing between the Germans, the French, the Russians, the Middle Eastern people, the English, the Americans. We're all like, man, you know what? Who's being an obnoxious asshole? The fucking Italians.
wow, that's how you bring the world together.
Well, again,
hate the Italians.
Mutual hatred is how all these things. That's how people.
Yeah,
come
pretty
together.
much. Like we could create 99% world peace if we just say fuck Italians.
If we all agreed to just commit one final genocide, a final solution, if you will,
yeah.
then we could finally have racial harmony in this world.
Yeah. So
Who's your pick to kill off? Can't
Which
say Italian.
race?
Yeah.
Which race?
Can't say Italians.
Sean,
That's my pick.
no, we're not doing this. No.
Riffing works with you. Yes, and me.
Oh, we're gonna go that route. Yes.
Yeah, you got a yes and me. You could pick a. You could pick
Well,
a
it's a
non-offensive race.
question, so it's not really improv. But
How does a question not improv? I'm on the spot asking you something that is hoping to incite something funny.
yeah, all right, okay, great. Okay,
You're
great.
just trying to prove how not racist
great
you are.
topic for the. What race do I think should
Do
die
you,
for
Peter
world
Clark
peace?
Deutsch, first of his name, think should be genocided off the planet?
How about? Trying to think of a.
You want
of
to
a
say Jews so
minuscule-
badly.
No, I am a fellow Jew. I can't. They've been through enough. This is fucking stupid.
All right, fine. We'll move on. Because
I'm
you're
not going to just talk about a race I want to destroy.
I didn't say
on
you
this
want to. I said you had to pick one. There's a gun to your head.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, how about we leave that answer for the Patreoners?
See, you know, it was a really easy one. You could have said Australians.
Yeah, they are pretty racist.
Yeah.
So
See,
but
you kept going with all the races you actually wanted to kill. You racist.
no, I was trying to
son
think
of
of like
bitch.
a really, really tiny race so I could kind of weasel my way out of this. But
Nope.
anyway, yeah.
Segment number 2.
Segment number 2. So anyway,
we need music.
So, Sean,
Yes.
are you tired of male comedians saying sexist, racist, homophobic things, or just being straight assholes?
Well, I'm not sure that you listened to the last 2 minutes of me talking, but clearly not.
No. Anyway, do you wish there was a mic where you didn't have to deal with these types of people that make up 95% of the bottom tier comedy circuit?
By golly gee, I do.
Well,
Are we being sponsored by Blue Apron?
I fucking wish. Well, there's a mic in Hollyhock, Massachusetts called Massachusetts called the Lady Haha Open Mic. That, according to this article, provides comics with a safe space, which I feel like in the comedy community is a dirty word.
Well, it is a dirty word because it's so... Comedy comes from being uncomfortable.
Yes.
That is literally where humor's derived from, is making fun of bad things that happen to you. And like that, I get what she's going for. He's like, there are a lot of dudes in comedy. And there's actually a list online, I think it's called Gold Open Mics, which are particularly for LGBTQ and women. That just lists like which ones are just for them in the New York City. But
yeah, I mean, I think as we get into this, you'll kind of realize what I realize is, it's more just saying like fuck the psychopaths and like creating a space without psychopaths. But I do agree
I wish we can get rid of the psychopaths.
Yeah, I'll probably bring this up at the end as well, but like I'd fucking love to perform at a mic that promotes itself as fuck all these hack men doing these hack jokes.
Problem is we're those hack men though.
No, we're not.
We're a little hacky.
Yeah,
we both have porn jokes.
Okay.
We both have what's another classic one? We've talked.
I don't have a Tinder joke.
You don't have a Tinder joke?
No.
I feel like.
I mean, I've never used Tinder, so that's why. But
well, I'll get you on Tinder after this. He is single, ladies.
No, but what I'm saying is,
All the single ladies.
I feel like, imagine, I'll bring this up at the end.
Nah, well, yeah, we
so
can keep
essentially,
going.
this mic happens every second Thursday of the month, and I believe it was kind of vague whether it was exclusively for women and non-binary people, but it says, women and non-binary people can practice their routines in a safe, comfortable atmosphere. Aww.
See, I hope it is just for women and non-binary people, so a trans black man can come in there and make so much just noise. Like, just be like, I'm being kicked out? I wish
you can't outwoke me out of here.
Yeah, I know. That is fine. I get it. Because the average open mic on the best case scenario is a 70-30 split men to women. Like, that is the best case scenario.
That's a reach.
No, I know. That's what I said. But I'd say on average, it's
a best case scenario, but it's a fucking reach.
Yeah. On average, I'd say it's 95 to 0.5. There's a half a woman, and I don't mean that in an unwoke way. I mean, it's literally somebody cut a woman in half with a knife.
Yeah.
It's like a magician's trick.
Yes. So
that was the joke I was going for. I realized how unclear it was when I was telling it.
Let's talk about mutilating women in this article about safe and comfortable.
I do have a lot of jokes about mutilating women.
Do you?
No.
Okay.
Well,
cool.
I have my serial killer jokes.
Cool. I have so many sound bites of Sean saying awful shit that I can just use to blackmail him now.
Yeah, all the stuff that's super out of context, though. Like, it's always missing the setup of, I don't believe this. Yeah. But statistically, all right.
So this mic was started by comedian Jennifer Miskowski. She says there's a lot of misogyny in comedy.
No shit.
As well as
was that misogynistic of us saying that to her response?
No shit, cunt.
There's definitely a guy who said that to her face at this point.
Oh, definitely. I mean, there's definitely like there was some like really angry guy who shared this article on Facebook and was like, I'm being discriminated against by this.
Yeah, why can't I go?
PC SJW woman.
Yeah.
Why can't I go in and talk about how I hate women at this mic? There's a lot of misogyny in comedy as well as racism, transphobia, and homophobia. It makes it unsafe for people who are maybe not white and male. Miskowski said it was common to hear threats of violence disguised as comedy and cited an instance when a fellow comic asked single woman in the audience to raise her hand. When only one woman did, the comedian said, trigger warning, by the way.
Don't do that.
This is a safe and comfortable article, Sean. I'm going to give the warnings when they merit.
Fine.
I mean, this is upsetting to me. Like the comedian said,
I mean,
like, that's okay. We'll all take turns with her after the show. Like,
yeah, but that's just another shitty comedian. Like, again,
and the audience laughed.
Oh, of course they do, because it's shocking and it's vile. And that triggers like I've laughed at some horrific things I don't agree with, but because you hear it and you aren't expecting it, your impulse is to laugh. Like that's
have you laughed at a comment like that though?
I've laughed at a way a white guy used the N-word once. I was not like
I think I know that instance.
Yeah, you know that instance, and I wasn't happy that I laughed, but it was just so shocking that I just giggled. Yeah, I've never been in a mic with that specific example she's giving, but I mean, there's plenty of like dudes who are just prowling for women at these things, which, if record is, as we said earlier, not a good place to meet women.
It really isn't. I mean, if you're expecting to get laid at an open mic, it's not. You better be gay.
Even then, good luck with that.
Even then, it's like there's no gay people there, but
I might get laid from an open mic soon, sort of.
Really?
Yeah, one of the lady who used to come to the open mics last summer, we matched on Tinder, so that kind of counts.
So, well, I mean, it's not directly.
She found me funny, and then she's like, "Yeah, I'll hop on that."
On Tinder? Did she say on Tinder like?
Yes.
Like,
yeah. Like, all right, I won't explain my dating to you.
Tune in for part 2 next week on 2 Mic Minimum.
Well, that's the thing is like a lot of male comedians do get laid after their top like touring, doing well comedians get laid from comedy.
Yeah, I mean, if you're just a fucking,
if you're Chris D'Elia, you're getting laid. Like,
if you're a big star, then like people. I mean, I feel like people want to have sex.
Even if you're a big star.
Yeah, I guess
if you are relatively clean and kind of funny, and you're hanging out after the show, women will come up to you and have sex with you. There's a comedian. We
say with no empirical evidence.
Oh, I have empirical evidence. I can't say the names because we know this person, but
not from ourselves. Just I totally agree with you.
Not from my own personal experience.
I totally agree with you. It's just funny being like, yeah, you just got to hang out and get laid, and it's like we're not expert. This has not happened to either of us.
Yeah, no, it will happen to me one day. God damn it. I believe in myself.
Hey, if you do it enough, it's gonna happen, and it might not be the love of your life, but it'll be some random woman you bone.
You still believe in love?
No.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, no, but we've definitely we were at a mic where someone just said something like horribly racist.
Yes, and it created an entire incident, and it was awkward.
Yeah.
And then it all calmed down, and then we kept going back and telling jokes.
But we recovered. Essentially, someone said something not okay about black people directed towards a black comedian.
A black woman comedian.
In the audience who was not happy, understandably. And it's just... Yeah. This is why I chose this article, just because I think, in the last podcast we kind of talked a little bit jadedly about there's psychopaths and there's all these fucked up people doing.
This is just gonna be a running theme of us talking about psychopaths in comedy.
But I think there's definitely a huge effort to really push for scenes that can branch out and shield themselves from these situations. I understand wanting
a safe scene to do comedy, but also at the same time, when you do that, you're also laughing in an insular circle, and so if you get on a show that's not safe anymore, you're going to bomb. Because I found that as a problem too, where I'd be killing in front of my friends, and then I go in from a different audience, do the same exact jokes, and oh shit, they're not good.
Yeah, I agree with that. At the same time, I don't think a comedian's going to nail every audience. So... it might be bad in terms of finding your exact style, but
yes. Well, I think it's just that when you get a room that's quote unquote safe, or you're getting an early pass. You don't have to win over the audience because they're already won over. I think that's detrimental to you as a comedian.
Yeah.
Let's keep reading the article.
I agree with that. Grossman said that about 20 people generally come out for the open mic, which is a lot.
Yeah, fuck that.
Which is a lot. By the way, this is hosted at the Hollyoak Hummus Company, which I'm not sure if I mentioned that before. It's a Middle Eastern cafe.
Okay. God, how much hummus could you eat at an open mic?
Dude, I'd fucking love to chow on hummus at an open mic.
You want to chow on hummus, just... So today,
well, not on stage, but just in the audience.
Hummus stays in your mouth for a while.
Well, wash it down with some water,
right.
And then
Okay.
This is how we solve problems.
All right, yeah. This is the creative problem solving.
There were between 40 and 50 people at the first one in January.
Fuck that. If you have 40 people at an open mic, cancel the mic.
It's never going to be replicated ever again.
You're going to do, what, 2 minutes each?
Well, I don't think they're all comics. There's no way that's all comics.
Oh, I think that was the implicate. All right.
There's no way there's 40 and 50 people coming out for an alt mic.
Yeah, an alt female mic.
I think it's just because it's a cafe. And
I'm sure she pushed amongst her friends or whatever.
Yeah,
okay.
So, a fellow female comedian, Holly Given, said open mics that feature women comedians tend to be much more open, and the comedy is of higher quality than the open mic, which is subjective as shit.
Yeah, that's pretty biased on her part.
But I think there might be instances where she's not exactly false.
Well, no, I think it's just that you get the break of not having to hear 101 dick jokes.
Yeah,
that, which is fair, but at the same time,
and at the same time, I don't think women are completely immune to just being hack. We've definitely seen a lot of.
There's this basically running theory now, a lot of women, they haven't developed the female hack yet because women in comedy is sadly a kind of a newer thing. At least in the stand-up scene, has been so male dominated. In terms of top female comics, right? There's a handful most people can honestly name. We can name a bunch because we're fans of comedy. But if you go up to a person on the street, they'll say Sarah Silverman,
right?
Amy Schumer,
right?
Then you'll probably hear a pause, right? He's yes, and name a male comedian. They're gonna say Chappelle, Louis, Aziz, Mulaney, 101 comics.
Yeah, that's a good point, just because I guess there's not a lot of this comic rip-off in terms of female comics, whereas you go to an open mic, it's here's 101 different Louis rip-offs,
Yeah,
there's so many more people to rip off for men compared to women, so I guess women are more free to really own their own style, which is what I believe what you're saying. Yeah. So that is a valid point. If you want to make the case, a female open mic is of much higher quality. I definitely think that I mean, I've never been to one. You've been to one, I know.
Yes, I have been. It was not much better. An open mic is still a fucking open mic. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, you want to keep reading?
Yeah, that's a good point. So she said she appreciates the forum because a lot of men use sexually charged material.
Here's the sexually charged material though, like sex sells to a certain extent, and I'm like, I get there's a difference between like some people have like sex jokes, kinky things, like, but also like that's something to talk about. Everybody can relate to.
Yeah,
it's the
easiest hack. I'm ripping off this comedian topic also.
Yeah, like
so I totally get it.
Yeah,
I think I'm projecting a lot of myself onto this article because like I'm just so jaded from open mic comedy.
And you don't even do as many open mics as I do.
No.
Yeah,
but I mean, I imagine you must be just as jaded.
I'm jaded, but I think it's like I'm like a jaded cop who's waiting to get his pension. to steal a Bill Burr joke for a second.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I don't know. I've gotten to the point where like I also because then when you do get somebody who's really funny, it's good. It's fun. It's fun to do.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I think as long as you feel like you're being original and really honing your own style and really like creating something that you feel good about, like that I think is the best feeling no matter where you're doing comedy. Like I've done open mics where I've bombed, but I was like, you know what? The way I delivered I thought was really on point, so I'm really happy with myself.
Yeah, because sometimes you bomb not because of anything you did, but because of what they did. Or like you bomb just because there's no one there, or bomb because like I mean I've literally done an open mic to a room of just the host.
Yeah, same.
Yeah,
I did that at the stand once. I was like last of 30 people in a bucket, and I was like, "Hey, Gene, what do you want to talk about?
Yeah,
you want to hear these jokes I did last week? Okay, here we go." So I think there's definitely bias you can put into all these opinions that people have in this article, but I think it's interesting to talk about because we talk about
I
all
think
the type of news.
I think it'd be cool if they had like an all-female open mic in Westchester here to see all
which would be
five
attended
female comics
by
that we know.
Five comics.
I'm trying to think if I can actually think of that would go. I know I can think of certain male comics who would complain about it.
You think of a ton.
Yeah.
Like I'm being discriminated against. Anyway, come see me at this show.
I know a comic who contacted another friend of ours, wanted to get on her LGBTQ show, and his reasoning is because he's had sex with a trans woman. He's LGBTQ. Like I
feel like I know this person.
Oh, you do.
I feel like I know exactly who you're talking about.
All right, we'll finish up this article here.
So some patrons said that they had never been to the open mic or even the restaurant. They said they came because they had heard about the open mic and they were there to support local people and businesses. They said that they had seen other people do stand-up, but Miscoutsie and Givens were more personal and their topics were more relatable than many other comedians. So you can't make a blanket statement.
Yeah, but also like this article has a certain bias too, because also like it'd be nice if we could see what the jokes they're saying too, to back it up one way or the other. But
I do think like for the bajillion gazillion normal open mics and the bajillion gazillion annoying men there are in comedy, like it's nice that there's like niches that are being carved out, and they're maybe that's like doing this doing just as open mic isn't going to be the way you're going to improve yourself as like a really great comedian, like if you just do that exclusively, but it's a nice little niche in the huge comedy circuit that is here.
Yeah. I've had an idea to do a show at a sorority where I would host it, but it would be all female comedians. I'd call it Sean's Angels. Yeah, like that's my yeah.
It's funny because you do look like you'd be the guy to
first look at me.
Yeah,
it's every ism. I think I said this the last podcast. Yeah. Every ism is you just assume I am. And then you find out I'm super fucking woke.
I can see you holding like a giant wad of cash and have like 5 rings on, and you're like,
you got a sweet medallion.
Yeah.
All
right, I want you doing a tight 5 tonight, honey.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I think we kind of talked about the idea of a safe space open mic, and I don't think like for example, I do agree with you. Like I don't think you can exclusively have a safe space for comedy. Definitely in like the arts in general. For example, when I took like a dramatic literature class in college, my professor was like vehement about being like, I'm not going to do a trigger warning.
Yeah.
Because, like, you can't do a trigger warning
For life.
for a play and have it be just as effective.
How about this? I saw a guy get decapitated once.
Fuck.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, the guy was on a motorcycle and this bus rammed right into him. Head came, cleaned the fuck off. Life does not give you life does not give you warnings.
And that's why you're here with me.
Oh yeah, like I said, very jaded.
How old were you?
This was like 5 years ago.
Oh fuck. Okay, so you were.
I was 20.
Okay, damn.
Yeah, like I don't know, like you get used to it eventually. Sure, do I see him in my dreams every night? Yeah, but I just ignore it and drink.
Yeah. Go to open mics, do comedy.
Yeah.
But for example, like I think like theater, for example, like it's a lot of theater is very provocative, and you can't really have a trigger warning. Like for example, you can't have a trigger warning for Hamlet and have it be just as cool. Like, by the way, Hamlet's gonna get stabbed, and it's gonna be. They
don't have a trigger warning for Lion King, which is just Hamlet.
Yeah.
But last I checked, I've watched a lot of parents die in Disney movies. Like it just experiences you to life. Like I understand trigger warnings in certain scenarios because there's things that are very traumatic for people. But at the same time, like it should be the onus be on us to let them know.
Yeah, I mean, it's I don't want to like downplay people's trauma, so it's like I can take like a middle ground.
Absolutely, I think there's a middle. Some people like I remember I saw a trigger warning once, and it was like. It was like a video of a python eating an alligator. And I'm like, who's triggered by this?
I was once an alligator.
I lost so many of my friends to alligators. Story number 3.
Anyway, so how are we doing on time, Sean?
We're at 45 minutes.
That's perfect. Okay, this will probably be our last thing.
You cut off my music, though.
Well,
this is what people want to hear.
Well, guess what? Episode 3 is going to be better.
All right, fine.
Every episode is going to be talking about how the next episode is going to be better.
I'll read this article because you did the first 2.
Yes.
All right, Stoned versus Drunk versus Sober, a monthly comedy competition in Austin, Texas.
By the way, this isn't an article. This is just like.
Well, I'm reading the thing. Okay. I have your printout here. I'm doing.
Yes.
I'm doing my fair share. We are partners.
Continue.
Stoned versus Drunk versus Sober is a stand-up comedy competition featuring 3 teams of comics that try to answer the question: what if comics got stoned, drunk, or sober, then gave it their best as they perform on the edge?
Next show will be June 29th at the Fallout Theater in Austin, Texas.
Yeah,
so
all of our listeners are going to run out to that.
Oh, definitely.
Will this podcast even be out by then?
It should be. It'll definitely be out. But anyway, I guess for the last 15 minutes, we'll talk about, as one Reddit user put it, gimmick shows, even though I don't really like the name gimmick. They're more like...
It is a gimmick.
It is a gimmick, but it's like, like alternative style comedy. Like this is a comedy competition that's like that, where they essentially just have teams of comedians where they get one super drunk and they get one super high. Not sure if that's legal in Texas, but...
everything's legal.
And then one that's just sober. And essentially, I find this competition funny because I just think whoever is on the drunk team is going to automatically win the support of the crowd.
They did this at the Pit a couple of weeks ago, actually. That's exactly. So I'm like, here's the thing. Most comics already go up stoned or drunk.
Yeah.
And it's not really like, we're at a disadvantage. I did a comedy competition late last year where the whole gimmick is you do a shot before you go up and each round progressively. And little do they know, I'm a borderline alcoholic, so I was completely fine the entire time. I did like 8 shots. They were pretty watered down, to be fair. Yeah. Because it's a safety hazard.
The only problem, I mean, I haven't seen this, and I don't think I will, even though according to like their website, they're trying to expand this show like all across the country. Like there was one in Louisiana. I mean, like I think it's cool. I just think there's like, it also depends on the audience, but like we saw a trailer for this, and like... the first clip is just a guy being like, fuck yeah, you piece of shit, like just drunk, and like the audience was loving it. I'm like, that's just what's gonna happen. Like the audience are gonna like really gravitate towards the people who's like incapacitated.
The audience is also gonna be drunk and high.
And then the next clip is a guy who's like really neatly dressed in a collared shirt, and he's like, well, so
yeah,
like, good luck. You better work some fire material if you're gonna win this crowd over.
Like some comedians' entire gimmicks are being drunk and high. Like Doug Benson, his entire gimmick is being stoned the entire time.
Yeah,
Bert Kreischer is drunk every time
and shirtless. So that's how I feel about the show, where it's just like an audience is gonna really be riled up by the person who is under the influence or something, and then like the sober people. But I guess that's what makes it fun, is that just like the sober people have to really work it.
Yeah, it's a show, and you're really just trying to go off the rails as you can to make sure everybody has a good time.
It's not about winning or losing. There's no winners and losers in comedy. We're all gonna get that Netflix special.
No, we're all losers.
we're all losers.
Netflix is slowly, I don't know if it's dying, but they are canceling so many things now. They're canceling all their TV shows, but I think their stand-up thing is still going strong because it's so cheap to produce.
Yeah, and there's no shortage of comedians.
There really isn't. Although ideally there would be. In the late 90s / early 2000s, there was a shortage.
That was during the crash, right?
Yeah, well, they just called it like the comedy depression or whatever. Like
comedy depression.
Because there was such a boom of comedy in the late 80s, early 90s. Because everybody was copying Seinfeld and all those guys. Yeah. And then it crashed because so many comedy clubs opened up to accommodate it. And then everyone's like, well, these fucking comedians suck. So all of them closed, and then they kind of, then they started becoming more alt scenes and stuff. Like, that's how you like, just apartment shows and shit like that started springing up everywhere, and like musical comedy, like as opposed to just straight up stand up. Yeah, and if you Google comedy depression, you'll find a bunch of pictures of comedians lining up outside soup kitchens, trying to get a meal for themselves. All the ones. My uncle actually did stand up in the late 80s. He toured for a little bit in Texas.
Oh wow! So
I have no idea if he was any good or not.
In the genes, probably not.
Maybe, I don't know. He's pretty funny.
It's crazy though. You hear stories of like people who realized like the way people saw stand up at that time was like a way to make money, where they were just like wow, there's like this like great business opportunity. Like tell jokes and they'll pay you like $200. Or
I listened to this podcast. I think it was a Marin episode. We were talking to Brad Garrett, and in the 90s, TV shows would give out holding deals to comedians. Where like they're like, all right, we're going to make your show, but if in the meantime we're just gonna give you $100,000 for the year. That's it. It was just a holding deal, so they figured out how to make their show. And these so many comedians got this deal, where you're getting paid to do fucking nothing.
Yeah, man,
I want that deal so badly.
Man, we were born in the wrong generation.
Oh, I always think if I was born like, let's say 8 years earlier. My general whiteness, like, I'd be golden, baby.
We'd be killing it.
I'd be like a nice mid-30s comedian.
We'd be taking advantage of systematic oppression.
I would have made so many sweet 9/11 jokes. Yeah. I could have timed it so right.
But anyway, so someone asked on Reddit about gimmick shows, and he said, how do you feel about shows where it's like eat hot wings then do a 5-minute set?
Okay, again, I just do that at open mic sometimes by accident.
Yeah, but it's like I guess this one's just like a hot pepper challenge where. And then you do stand up, and at that point, it's less about the stand up, and it's more just watching someone suffer.
Yeah, well, I think you gotta mix it up. Like we've literally been lamenting about hack comics all day here. So like by mixing them and just having like, I would love if we did that at Lucy's one week.
I have like no issue with any of these shows. I think they're really cool.
I mean, every now and then I see a dumb one, but like for the most part, I think it's fun.
Someone responded saying there's a comedy or consequences show where you have to have the audience throw ping pong balls at you. Needless to say, the other comics tore me up. Every punchline, every bit was a fucking mess. Absolutely one of the most embarrassing and fun sets I've done. It was awful. I'll do it again.
Yeah, no. I wish there was more polite to tell people that they sucked.
there was more what?
It was more polite to tell people that they sucked. They sucked. So like some days you suck. The worst is some comedians don't realize that they sucked.
So you were thinking about it, and you're probably right, how you just throw ping pong balls if someone tells a bad joke.
Yeah.
I was just thinking it as like they have a giant vat of ping pong balls, and you just take them and you just throw them at the comedian.
See, I think we go one step further. We get a tennis ball shooting machine, and we just unfucking load. James Crowley, talk about music one more fucking time.
Yeah, just like you got your goal is to knock out the comedian.
Yeah,
and if you do, you get 2 extra minutes or however long they didn't do.
And if you kill them, you get a 10-minute set on a show.
Yeah, you get a feature spot.
Yeah.
But that actually did remind me that one of my comedian friends from Binghamton, when I was at school there, had the idea of doing an alt show that was dodgeballs. So it's the same thing as the ping pong balls, except you just give them.
But you have to do that. That's a little harder, I think. We have to do it outside.
Why?
Because it's a dodgeball, and that's just gonna go everywhere. Yeah, right, like, seriously,
Well, I was thinking of like the foam balls, like
even that. Do you know how hard I can whip a dodgeball?
Yeah, but the foam balls, you don't bounce it around. The dodgeballs, they'll
right.
go everywhere, but like the foam balls.
All right, you did not play the same level of dodgeball then. Because
No,
I was getting that shit to bounce, whipping it. I was curving the bullet
With like the foam?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Plus, I would always aim for the head. Even though my gym teacher always told me, I hate
no headshots.
All right, classic pussification of America. Like there was an article that came out this week all about like how being picked last in dodgeball always lead to like inner sadness, and I'm like, fuck
Inner sadness?
them.
Like
fuck them. Dodgeball is an American institution.
the one period of gym is leading
I
to...
will give you the red rubber ones should be outlawed because that will genuinely fuck a kid up. But the foam ones are fair game.
I feel like people are just indifferent to dodgeball now. It's just
it's all the fat kids who didn't want to actually participate in gym and exercise who were like, I don't want to get hit with a ball.
Well,
so,
like
because the government, they had fun.
When I remember dodgeball from my high school, it was just like you were either really into it or you were just like some like artsy kid who was like standing on the side and was like, "Ooh, I don't want to."
All the artsy kids are the ones who write the articles now saying we need to ban dodgeball.
But I never got the sense that they were like upset about.
Oh no, they internalize all that pain.
I just got the impression that they were like, whatever, I'm just gonna like talk with my friends and like stand in the corner where I'm not gonna get assaulted.
Yeah. I did beam a girl in the face once and broke her nose.
What the fuck?
Dude, man, I had a pitching arm. What are you talking about?
You can't just be like, oh, pussification of America. Dodgeball's bad. Anyway, I fucked a girl's nose up once.
All right. Hey, do you know how many concussions I've suffered? A lot. You bounce back from it. You get back up. You get back on the horse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, this is why Republican dads love you. They're like,
yeah, they do. It's like, yeah, I do think like, yeah.
I get it.
You tough scrapes and bruises and help, fix you up. No one's getting paralyzed from dodgeball.
Yeah, I mean, I would say I agree on a surface level. I mean, I don't know. Maybe
there's some
nuance.
games at our days. We used to play in we were in middle school. We used to play Kill the Carrier.
Yeah, that game's fun.
Until my friend Nino got his skull cracked open.
Oh, what the fuck?
We were killing the carrier.
I mean, you were going to. It looked like.
Yeah, that got it banned.
Oh,
then we had to play two-hand touch, but it turned into two-hand shove real quick.
Yeah. It turns into violence real quick.
Do you have a dodgeball game? Slide into my DMs. I haven't played dodgeball in at least a decade now.
We should do a Lucy's dodgeball.
That'd be fun.
I would love that. Yeah.
That's nothing to do with stand-up, but like we could find just a black top and just...
I'd be so down. Like I think it would be fun to just like do something active instead of hiding away in the dark corners of the Lucy's open mic.
It's so sad I'm the most fit person at Lucy's most weeks.
Are you more fit than me though? Like remember, I did sports too.
Oh, I'm definitely in better shape than you.
All right. I mean...
Oh yeah. I came from the gym, baby, to do this podcast.
Honestly, you probably are. I don't work out that much, but I wasn't. I was
like, listen, you can beat me in an endurance run, and that's about it. If you want to do, but if like it's a 100-meter dash, I'll give you a run for your money.
Really?
Oh yeah, dude.
Damn. All right, so tune in to see Sean and I do a 100-yard dash. I might take you up on that.
I'd do that if we get a video component of this
podcast. Yeah, I would. Honestly, when I started doing track and field, I was a sprinter, but then I transitioned towards jumping because I was better at jumping than
See, when I did track and field, I sprinted and I was part of the 4x1 relay.
What was your split? That's what it's called, right? What was your split time?
I have no idea off the top of my head. I did focus mainly on the throwing, but I was part of a 4x1.
Yeah, I did.
We won like 3 races.
Oh, yeah, nice.
We were like, there were so many kids on our track team. There was the A team, the B team, the C team, and the D team. I was on the C team.
My 100-meter time when I did it once in college because my track coach put me on it, and I was kind of mad because I was like, I don't sprint.
Yeah.
It was 12 seconds, which is pretty... I mean, it's not like the worst time, but compared to other sprinters, I think I was like bad.
I think it was like 14.
Yeah, I'll fucking kick your ass.
My 40 though was like a low 5, like a 5.01, which is because all we had to do 40s for football and stuff.
Yeah,
but yeah. If you gave me like, I'm not gonna do it today because it already worked out. But if you give me fresh in the morning,
honestly,
all right, we will record a sprint between the two of us.
Yes,
and see who wins.
Yes, we'll find a camera guy.
We'll do sprint for you. We'll have a bench pressing competition for me, and we'll find a third.
We're gonna do an entire decathlon.
Yeah, we'll do a decathlon.
It's just in your favor. So we'll do a sprint, and then we'll do lifting weights. Then we'll do dodgeball, arm wrestling, real wrestling.
Yeah.
sumo wrestling. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's just me beating the shit out of you.
Just
Listen, people like me are the best representative in the world. Do you know who the heavyweight champ is now?
No.
Andy Ruiz, baby. Look up a photo.
Cool.
Here, I'm gonna look up a photo of him right now. I don't care. I'm turn on my phone for this.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, this is important. This is what people want to hear about.
This is just
It's me.
the
Fuck,
static.
no one gives a fuck about the comedy at this point.
Yeah, no one gives a shit about our
Andy
personality.
Ruiz, he was this local boxer in Jersey here who DM'd a promoter to get into the fight because this other guy, Anthony Joshua, who was the heavyweight champ, his opponent, I can't think of it off the top of my head, he got suspended for PEDs. So the fight was off, but they already did all the promotions and stuff. Like, you can't just cancel the fight, but you're gonna lose a shit ton of money. So like, all right, fuck it, we'll have this guy come in. It'll be a tune-up match for him. And this guy is so fucking glorious. Like, he is the most beautiful man I've ever seen in my entire life. There it is. Here. And look at that body.
Man, look at that body, everyone.
Yeah.
Is he
people
the
can Google it at home. He's the guy standing over him.
Yeah.
Beating the shit out of a chiseled Greek Adonis.
Wow.
Look at that body.
Got quite a gut right there.
His warm-up meal was a steak and 3 Snickers.
Yeah, you could rest your head comfortably on his belly.
Yeah, he's a beautiful chunky boy.
Yes. So anyway,
sorry, it's very important to me.
No, it's important you express all your passions, your hatred towards the pussification of America because of dodgeball.
I think that's the happiest I've been was these last 12 minutes talking about anything other than the comedy.
Honestly, yeah, we should. We were supposed to make this podcast to make ourselves a little less miserable, and
now we're gonna have a race.
Yeah. Now we're gonna have a race, right, and we're gonna place your bets, everyone. Right. 2 people. Yeah, as of now.
All 2 of our friends are listening.
All to 2 of our friends, James and Frankie, place your bets.
Yeah, you guys.
They're not even listening to us.
They agree to listen to my solo podcast for like 2.
Yeah, 2's a lot. That's
a lot.
Yeah.
It's a 2 mic minimum.
There we go. That's
okay. We're at the hour mark. You want to wrap up?
Yeah. So anyway, thank you if you gave the first episode a chance. Thank you for giving the second episode a chance. By the way, if you want to follow us on social media, you can follow us at 2 Mic Minimum on Instagram and Twitter. And also, we have our own email now. So if you want to send us any comedy-related stories to open mics or shows or what's going on in your scene.
For $5, we will read anything you want us to read.
Yes, but also if you have a story you want to share,
that too. But
then we'll read it for free.
You can send us a story for free, and if you have a joke or something bad, minus any real racial epitaphs, we'll read it on air. Or you can also just sponsor the podcast. You want us to promote something, promote a show, we'll do it for $5.
Yeah.
Email us at
2micminimum@gmail.com.
There we go. I'm thinking about how to monetize this, baby.
Yeah, I got to monetize
our 50-50 split of this podcast.
Yeah, the $250 we're gonna make.
Yeah, man. That's better than nothing.
Yeah, you can follow me, Peter Clark Deutsch, on Twitter and Instagram. Just type in my name. You can follow Sean
I'll do my own
social media. Yeah, you can do your
own. You guys can follow me on Instagram at BigBarry63. And if you like hearing my voice but fucking hate Peter, you can listen to my other podcast, the Big Barry Podcast, on Spotify, iTunes, I guess Apple Podcasts now. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you can get a podcast, SoundCloud. That's just the Big Barry Podcast, and you can email that at thebigbarrypodcast@gmail.com.
Yep. So anyway, hope you had a lovely car ride home if you're listening to this in the car, or had a lovely workout, or wherever you were listening to this podcast.
Yeah. And this podcast was
2 Mic Minimum.
Yay!